Las Vegas, Sin City, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, the city that never sleeps. We've heard it all. But now it's 2021 and our city is asleep. COVID has taken a lot from this community. We've lost almost 60% of our jobs. Travel and tourism, that is the heartbeat of Las Vegas, has dwindled to nothing. We've seen an exponential increase in relapse from addiction, domestic violence, child abuse, homelessness, and a host of other problems. We have a crisis of disconnection. Clinics and social services that were once readily available have resorted to telemedicine only, and in many cases have closed down altogether. Pelagio was born out of a commitment to those suffering with addiction when they feel most alone and isolated. The concept of Pelagio is a play on words. It refers to a chain of islands. Even when you feel by yourself, you are still connected and part of something bigger. I've come to realize that addiction is a symptom of a greater problem. It's not a lack of morals or of ethics. It's not a choice that somebody makes. And certainly it's more than a biological disease. It's really a response, a symptom, if you will, of deeper human suffering and trauma. Childhood trauma causes problems with how people interact, not only in their own personal environment, but with society at large. It's important that we don't re-traumatize those who are already traumatized. We need to give an opportunity to heal the underlying problems and not just treat the symptoms. Addiction is a big problem, and all around the world, people are struggling with it. What's unconscionable is that as professionals, if only 5% of our clientele are still clean and sober after 5 years, we're considered a success. Einstein said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And yet, as medical professionals, that's exactly what we do when it comes to addiction. And then we wonder why our clients relapse, why they can't seem to get past slipping back into the grips of addiction. Even when we run them through program after program, the same thing over and over, and somehow we expect that we're going to get a different result. The reality is, we don't address the true problem, we address the symptom. The problem is emotional pain. The problem is trauma. Emotional pain and suffering, or trauma if you will, affects not only the chemical aspects of the human body, but also the brain in both form and function. And slipping into addiction becomes a way to numb that pain, to be able to deal with family, friends, work, colleagues, and society at large. But it only works for a little while, and it's destructive in the end to virtually every relationship that they deal with. Is there a cure for addiction? If you are approaching it as a disease or a diagnosis, my answer would be no. True healing happens when we listen. Finding a place of real healing means stepping outside of the medical model of labels and diagnoses and hearing the suffering of the people that we're working with. When a person is in crisis, whether it's because of a divorce, the loss of a job, or grieving, it seems to me that the culture of medicine, driven by productivity, creates a feeling in the suffering person that they have been reduced to a diagnosis. Seeing my client as a multidimensional, multifaceted individual and responding with care and concern allows me to hear their underlying issue and create a plan of care with them, addressing their unique challenges. This is why I started Pelagio, so that we could have an addiction program that's as individualized and as unique as the people that I work with every day.